Commander Isabella Reyes stood at the viewport of the International Space Station's new observation module, her dark eyes fixed on the strange object that had appeared 12 hours ago. The crystalline structure pulsed with a soft blue light, its irregular surface catching the sun's rays in ways that defied conventional physics. After 20 years in space, she thought she'd seen everything. She was wrong. Signal analysis complete, Commander, Lieutenant James O'Neill called from his station. It's definitely not one of ours. The broadcast pattern matches no known human transmission protocols. Isabella nodded, her mind racing through the countless first contact scenarios they'd trained for. None quite matched this situation. What's the content? Mathematical sequences, Commander. Prime numbers, atomic structures, and... James paused, double-checking his readings. What appears to be a pulsar map with Earth at its center. The room fell silent. They were being contacted deliberately. Director Singh is online, announced Communications Officer Valentina Popov. The main screen flickered to life, showing the stern face of the International Space Defense Coalition's leader. Commander Reyes, you have a go for Protocol First Light, Singh said without preamble. The Security Council has unanimously approved first contact procedures. Ground teams are assembling at Kennedy, Baikonur, and Kourou. Whatever's out there, they chose to approach peacefully. Isabella straightened her uniform. Understood, Director. We'll begin broadcast of the response package. She turned to her crew. Let's make history. The next 6 hours were a blur of activity. The station's powerful transmitters sent Earth's carefully crafted first contact messages toward the object. Mathematical concepts, basic physics principles, and simple pictorial representations of human life, humanity's introduction to the cosmos. The response came faster than anyone expected. The crystalline object shifted, its surface rippling like liquid metal, before projecting a massive holographic display visible from the station's viewport. The image showed a massive vessel, clearly damaged, with dozens of smaller craft surrounding it. A warning. New contact. James shouted. Large object decloaking at lunar distance. Isabella rushed to the tracking station. The object was massive, easily a kilometer in length. Its surface bore the scars of recent combat, and radiation readings were off the charts. As they watched, smaller vessels began launching from its battered hull. Multiple contacts, Commander, Valentina reported. They're maintaining distance but, wait. She adjusted her headset. We're receiving transmission on all frequencies. It's, oh my God. The speakers crackled to life with sounds that made Isabella's heart stop. Not mechanical signals or mathematical sequences, but something far more primal. The sounds of pain. Of desperation. Of plea for help. Translation matrix is analyzing, James reported. Basic concepts are coming through. They're refugees, Commander. They're asking for sanctuary. Director Singh's face reappeared on the main screen, his expression grave. Commander, we're tracking multiple high-energy signatures approaching the solar system. Whatever they're running from, it's following them. Isabella looked at the holographic display again, at the damaged vessels carrying who knew how many souls. Then at Earth, blue and peaceful below them. Their home. Their sanctuary. And now, perhaps, sanctuary for others. Director, she said, her voice firm. Request permission to initiate Operation Safe Harbor. Singh nodded slowly. Granted, Commander. All Earth Defense Forces are now at your disposal. Whatever's coming, we'll face it together. Isabella turned to her crew, seeing the same mixture of fear and determination in their eyes that she felt in her heart. Send word to all stations. Begin emergency protocols. And get me a direct channel to our visitors. She paused, gathering her thoughts. It's time to show them what humanity does best, standing together against impossible odds. As the crew rushed to comply, Isabella returned to the viewport. The alien vessels had begun moving closer, their damaged hulls reflecting Earth's light. Behind them, in the vast darkness of space, something was coming. Something that had driven an advanced civilization to flee across the stars seeking help from an unknown species. But they had chosen correctly. Earth would not abandon those in need. And if war was coming to their doorstep, humanity would show the cosmos exactly what they were capable of when united against a common threat. The first alien shuttle began its approach to the station's new docking ring. Humanity's first steps into a larger universe would not be taken in exploration or conquest, but in extending a helping hand to those in desperate need. The midnight signal had changed everything. And Earth would answer the call. The Kennedy Space Center buzzed with activity as Dr. Marcus Blackwood studied the readings from his radiation detector for the 100th time. The numbers hadn't changed, they'd only gotten worse. Behind the quarantine field, 3 of the alien refugees lay in specially designed containment units, their crystalline bodies pulsing with an increasingly erratic blue light. The radiation isn't natural, he announced to the assembled team. These patterns show signs of artificial manipulation. Someone weaponized this against them. Dr. Rajesh Varma, the lead xenobiologist, looked up from his tablet. Agreed. The radiation is breaking down their cellular structure at the quantum level. It's unlike anything we've ever seen. In the 2 weeks since the refugees had arrived, Earth's scientific community had been working around the clock. The aliens, who called themselves the Lumini, were silicon-based crystalline beings who communicated through light pulses and electromagnetic fields. Their civilization had spanned dozens of star systems before the attack. Administrator Reyes, we need more time, Marcus called out as Isabella entered the lab, her ISS command patch now accompanied by the insignia of Earth Defense Operations. Time is the one thing we don't have, Isabella replied, bringing up a holographic display. Long-range sensors have detected multiple objects entering the Kuiper belt. Their energy signatures match what the Lumini described. We have 3 weeks, maybe 4. Marcus ran his hands through his graying hair. The radiation is corrupting their entire biological matrix. Even if we could synthesize a cure dash. Then we adapt, interrupted Dr. Li Wei, the quantum mechanics expert who had been quietly working in the corner. She projected her own data set. Look at their base structure. The radiation isn't just killing them, it's trying to rewrite them. To remake them into something else. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. The enemy wasn't just destroying the Lumini, they were trying to assimilate them. The collective, whispered Rajesh, recalling the briefings from the Lumini leadership. A biomechanical hive mind that absorbs other species into itself. The radiation is part of the conversion process. Isabella's face hardened. Can we stop it? Maybe, Li Wei said, manipulating the holographic model. Their crystalline structure responds to specific frequencies. If we can generate a counter-resonance. We'd need massive amounts of power, Marcus interjected. More than any single facility could generate. Isabella smiled for the first time in days. What if you had every power plant on Earth? The Security Council just approved Protocol 7, full global cooperation. Whatever you need, you'll have it. The scientists exchanged looks. The scale of what they were attempting was unprecedented, a worldwide effort to save an alien species while preparing for invasion. There's more, Isabella continued. The Lumini ships, their technology could revolutionize our defensive capabilities. Admiral Tanaka is coordinating with their engineers to upgrade our fleet, but we need their people alive to operate the systems. Marcus turned back to the containment units. The Lumini inside pulsed weakly, their light dimming. These beings had crossed the galaxy seeking help, betting everything on humanity's compassion and ingenuity. He couldn't let them down. Dr. Li Wei, he said, straightening up. Get me everything you have on quantum resonance patterns. Dr. Varma, we need a complete breakdown of their biological structure. Isabella, we're going to need access to every major power grid on the planet. The next 72 hours passed in a blur of calculations, simulations, and countless cups of coffee. Teams around the world worked in shifts, coordinating across time zones. The Lumini shared what they could, their weakening bodies still managing to transmit crucial data through their light-based language. Finally, on the fourth day, Marcus stood before the primary containment unit, holding a device that represented the combined efforts of thousands of scientists. The quantum resonance generator was connected to power feeds from 3 continents, ready to attempt something never before tried in human history. Ready for power-up sequence, Li Wei announced, her fingers dancing across the controls. Isabella watched from the observation deck, along with representatives from every major nation. This wasn't just about saving the Lumini anymore. This was humanity's first real test on the galactic stage. Initiating in 3, 2, 1. The generator hummed to life. Across the planet, power grids shifted to provide the massive energy needed. The Lumini in the containment units began to glow brighter, their crystalline forms resonating with the device's output. For 5 tense minutes, nothing seemed to happen. Then, slowly, the radiation readings began to drop. It's working! Rajesh exclaimed, checking his instruments. The radiation is being neutralized. Marcus allowed himself a small smile. They'd done it. But as he looked at Isabella's face, he knew this was just the beginning. They'd saved the Lumini, yes, but the real threat was still coming. How long until we can treat them all? Isabella asked. A few days to synthesize enough generators. Maybe a week to treat the entire refugee population, Marcus replied. Isabella nodded, already thinking ahead to the next challenge. Good. Because once they're healed, we need them ready to fight. Earth just became the front line in an interstellar war, and we're going to need every advantage we can get. As if to emphasize her words, the long-range sensor displays blinked with new warnings. More objects had entered the Kuiper belt. The collective was coming. But Earth would be ready. Humanity had already achieved the impossible once. Now it was time to do it again. Send word to Admiral Tanaka, Isabella ordered. Tell him to begin Phase 2 of the defense preparations. And get me a direct line to the Lumini leadership. It's time to show the collective what happens when they threaten a world under humanity's protection. The race against time had been won. The war for survival was about to begin. Admiral Kenzo Tanaka stood on the bridge of the ESS Defender, Earth's first starship retrofitted with Lumini technology. The massive viewscreen showed Neptune's blue expanse, but his attention was fixed on the dark shapes moving beyond the ice giant's orbit. Contact analysis complete, Admiral, reported Lieutenant Zara Hassan from the tactical station. We're tracking 217 distinct objects. Energy signatures match Lumini records of collective vessels. Kenzo nodded, his weathered face illuminated by the holographic display showing Earth's combined defense fleet. 78 ships, hastily upgraded with crystalline tech and spread across the solar system in a defensive web. Against an enemy that had conquered entire civilizations, it seemed painfully inadequate. Message from the Lumini flagship Starbright, Communications Officer Paulo Rodriguez announced. Ambassador Cristallos requests permission to join us on the bridge. Granted, Kenzo replied. He'd worked closely with the Lumini ambassador since their recovery, learning their ways of war. What he'd discovered had chilled him. The bridge doors hummed open, admitting the crystalline form of Ambassador Cristallos. The Lumini's body pulsed with restored vigor thanks to Dr. Blackwood's treatment, casting prismatic patterns across the command deck. Admiral, Cristallos greeted, their voice a harmonic blend created by their new translation device. The collective approaches exactly as we predicted. They never deviate from their patterns. That's their weakness, Kenzo said. They think like a hive. No imagination, no adaptation. He turned to his tactical officer. Status of the quantum mines? Deployed as planned, sir. Cloaking fields holding steady. The admiral allowed himself a grim smile. The mines were his idea, combining Lamini stealth technology with human nuclear weapons. The collective wouldn't expect such primitive devices to be a threat. That assumption would cost them. New contact. Zara's voice rose with urgency. Massive energy spike at the fleet's edge. There, sir, they're hailing us. Kenzo exchanged looks with Kristallos. This was unexpected. The collective never communicated with their prey. On screen, he ordered. The view screen flickered, revealing a sight that made several bridge officers gasp. The being appeared humanoid but wrong, flesh and machine merged in impossible ways, surfaces writhing with nanoscale movement. Its voice came through as a chorus of thousands speaking in perfect unison. We are the collective. Your resistance is observed. Your protection of our quarry is noted. You will be given one opportunity to surrender the Lamini. Do so, and your species may be granted the privilege of controlled absorption. Refuse, and your civilization will be dismantled. Kenzo stepped forward, his voice steady. This is Admiral Kenzo Tanaka of the Earth Defense Fleet. The Lamini are under our protection. Any attempt to harm them will be met with the full force of human military might. The collective being's expression didn't change. Your species is primitive. Your technology is borrowed. You cannot hope to resist us. We have consumed civilizations that spanned galaxies. Your defiance is illogical. Perhaps, Kenzo replied. But you'll find that humans specialize in illogical defiance. He signaled to cut the transmission, then turned to his crew. Battle stations. Execute Operation Thunderbolt. Alarms blared throughout the ship as humanity prepared for its first interstellar war. The fleet moved into attack formation, a strategy that combined Earth's centuries of naval warfare with Lamini tactical data. Sir, Kristallos spoke softly. You should know, no species has ever survived direct confrontation with the collective. Kenzo's eyes remained fixed on the approaching enemy fleet. Then we'll be the first. The battle began without warning. The collective ships accelerated suddenly, their formation splitting into attack vectors that defied conventional physics. But Kenzo was ready. Detonate Mine Cluster Alpha through Delta, he ordered. Silent explosions blossomed across space as the hidden weapons activated. Quantum-enhanced nuclear fire caught the leading edge of the collective fleet, their shields failing against the unexpected primitive force combined with advanced technology. Direct hits on 23 enemy vessels, Zara reported. Their formation is breaking up. But the collective adapted quickly. Their ships began moving in new patterns, organic and mechanical systems working in perfect harmony to counter the human strategy. Multiple incoming signatures, Paolo warned. They're launching some kind of pods toward our fleet. Kristallos's light pulsed with alarm. Boarding units. They seek to infect your crews directly. Kenzo had planned for this too. Execute Protocol Firewall. All ships, activate electromagnetic barriers. The human fleet glowed as massive electromagnetic fields surrounded each vessel, another fusion of Earth and Lamini technology. The collective pods crashed against them like waves against a cliff. Sir. Paolo's voice cut through the tactical chatter. Priority message from Earth. Dr. Patel says they've made a breakthrough. Something about human brainwave patterns disrupting the hive mind. For the first time since the battle began, Kenzo felt hope stir in his chest. They just needed to hold the line long enough for Earth's scientists to implement whatever they'd discovered. All ships, fall back to secondary positions, he ordered. Prepare for sustained defensive operations. We're not just fighting for survival anymore. We're fighting for time. As the battle raged across the outer solar system, humanity proved why they had been worthy of the Lumini's trust. They fought with courage, cunning, and a creativity that the mechanical precision of the collective couldn't match. The war for Earth had begun. But the real weapon that would turn the tide was still being forged in laboratories back home, where human ingenuity was about to change the rules of the game. Dr. Amara Patel hadn't slept in 3 days, but her hands were steady as she adjusted the neural interface array. On the other side of the observation window, rows of volunteers sat connected to her creation, their brainwave patterns displayed in cascading lines of light. "The human mind is beautiful," hummed Elder Luminera, the most ancient of the Lumini refugees. Their crystalline form cast rainbow patterns across the laboratory's white walls. Chaotic, yet harmonious. The perfect antithesis to the collective's rigid order. Amara nodded, checking the readings again. That's what makes it work. The collective operates on perfect synchronization, every component aligned in mathematical precision. But human consciousness. She gestured to the displays. We're a symphony of controlled chaos. The discovery had come by accident. During routine scans of recovered collective technology, they'd noticed how the biomechanical components reacted to human brainwave patterns. The hive mind couldn't process the inherent randomness of human thought. It was like trying to digitize jazz, the essence got lost in translation. Dr. Patel. Her assistant, Thomas Wright, burst into the lab. Admiral Tanaka's fleet is falling back to Mars orbit. The collective broke through their outer defensive line. Amara's jaw tightened. They were running out of time. Status of the neural network? Global integration at 78%. We've got volunteers linked up at every major installation worldwide. It was unprecedented, a planet-wide network of human minds, their combined consciousness amplified through Lumini crystals. The ultimate weapon against an enemy that relied on perfect unity, human individuality, multiplied across millions. Message from Commander Reyes, Thomas added. The ground defense teams are in position. They're asking about our timeline. Before Amara could respond, the building shook. Through the reinforced windows, she could see flashes in the sky above London's protective shields. The collective had begun their atmospheric assault. Elder Luminera, Amara turned to the alien sage. We need more power to the crystal matrix. Can your people handle it? The ancient being's light pulsed with determination. We did not cross the stars to fail now, Dr. Patel. My people stand ready. Across the planet, Lumini refugees had positioned themselves at key points in the neural network, their crystalline bodies serving as natural amplifiers for the human brainwave pattern. It was a collaboration unprecedented in galactic history. All stations, prepare for full power test, Amara announced over the global channel. This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill. In orbit, the combined Earth-Lumini fleet engaged in desperate combat. Admiral Tanaka's voice crackled over the emergency channel. Whatever you're planning, Doctor, do it fast. We've got multiple breaches in the defensive line. Amara took a deep breath, then pressed her palm against the main control crystal. Initiating global neural synchronization in 3, 2, 1. The world lit up. Millions of human minds, each unique, each individual, suddenly connected through the crystalline network. Not merged like the collective, but harmonizing, a billion different melodies creating something entirely new. Through the network, Amara felt everything. The courage of soldiers manning the defense lines. The determination of civilians in underground shelters. The focused precision of pilots engaging collective ships in orbit. All different, all human, all united in purpose but not in thought. The effect on the collective was immediate and devastating. Their ships began to falter, their perfect formations breaking apart as the chaotic harmony of human consciousness disrupted their hive mind. Boarding parties collapsed, their biomechanical systems unable to process the cacophony of human thought. "It's working!" Thomas shouted, checking the tactical displays. "The collective fleet is losing cohesion. Their ground forces are retreating." But victory wasn't assured yet. The main collective consciousness, housed in their massive command ship, remained intact. And it was adapting. Energy spike detected. Multiple sensors screamed warnings. They're concentrating their entire fleet's power into a single point. Amara felt it through the network, a surge of cold, mechanical force trying to overwhelm their defense. The collective was attempting to brute force their way through humanity's mental barricade. "Hold the line," she commanded through the neural link. "Everyone, focus on what makes you human. Your hopes, your fears, your dreams, everything that makes you uniquely you." Around the world, humanity responded. Parents thought of their children. Artists remembered their inspirations. Scientists recalled their moments of discovery. Soldiers remembered why they fought. Each memory, each emotion, each individual spark of consciousness became part of Earth's shield. The collective's attack slammed into this wall of human spirit and shattered. "Multiple enemy ships going dark," Thomas reported, his voice thick with emotion. "Their network is collapsing. They're retreating." But Amara wasn't celebrating yet. Through the neural network, she sensed something else. A desperate rage from the collective consciousness. A final gambit forming. "This isn't over," she said, reaching for the emergency channel. "Admiral Tanaka, Commander Reyes, the collective leader is preparing for one final attack. And I think I know how to stop them. But we'll need every human mind and every Lumini crystal working in perfect harmony. The fate of Earth would be decided in the next few hours." But humanity had found its weapon, not in technology or firepower, but in the very thing that made them human, their beautiful, chaotic, individual minds. The final battle was about to begin. The collective's command ship filled the viewscreen of the ESS Defender, its biomechanical surface writhing like a living nightmare. Admiral Tanaka stood at the helm, watching as humanity prepared for its final gambit. "Neural network at maximum capacity," Dr. Patel's voice came through the command channel. "Every human mind on Earth is connected. The Lumini crystals are operating beyond theoretical limits." "Enemy vessel charging primary weapon," Lieutenant Hassan reported. "Energy readings are off the scale." Through the neural link, Kenzo felt the combined consciousness of humanity, billions of minds working together while remaining uniquely individual. The Lumini refugees had positioned their ships in a precise geometric pattern around Earth, their crystalline technology amplifying the human brainwave pattern into a weapon never before seen in the galaxy. "They're targeting multiple points," Commander Reyes announced from her position at Earth Defense Command. "Not just military installations, population centers, power grids, the neural network nodes. The collective seeks to shatter your unity," Ambassador Cristallos observed, their light pulsing with concern. "They believe that by striking at your people, they can break your resistance." Kenzo allowed himself a grim smile. "They still don't understand humans." The first attacks came like tidal waves of darkness. Collective energy beams struck Earth's shields, seeking weaknesses. But where they expected to find fear and chaos, they encountered something else entirely. Through the neural network, Dr. Patel's voice rang out, "Everyone, this is what we prepared for. Don't fight the fear, embrace it. Let them feel everything that makes us human." Across the planet, humanity responded. Every emotion, every memory, every dream and nightmare and hope surged through the network. Parents' love for their children. Artists' passion for creation. Scientists' wonder at discovery. Soldiers' dedication to duty. All of it amplified by Lumini crystals, transformed into a weapon that defied physics. The collective's attack faltered as their hive mind encountered this tsunami of human consciousness. Their perfect unity began to crack under the assault of billions of individual thoughts, each one unique, each one powerful. Multiple breaches detected in enemy ships' core matrix, Hassan reported. Their biomechanical systems are failing. But the collective had one final card to play. Their command ship's surface began to transform, countless absorbed civilizations' technologies combining into something terrifying. They're trying to assimilate the neural network directly, Dr. Patel warned. If they succeed, they'll have access to every human mind on Earth. This was the moment Kenzo had been waiting for. All ships, execute Operation Prometheus. The Earth fleet moved as one, positioning themselves in a pattern mirroring the Lumini vessels. On the planet below, massive power stations redirected their entire output through the crystalline network. In orbit, Lumini technology merged with human determination. Dr. Patel, Kenzo called through the neural link. Light the fire. What happened next would be studied by scientists for generations. The combined power of Earth's electrical grid, channeled through Lumini crystals, amplified by the consciousness of billions, struck the collective command ship like a spear of pure thought. Through the neural network, every human felt it. The cold, mechanical precision of the collective mind trying to impose order on their chaos. But instead of fighting it, they embraced it. Billions of individuals choosing to share their uniqueness, their chaos, their humanity. The collective's hive mind, faced with this impossible paradox of unified individuality, began to fracture. Their ship's surface rippled as absorbed civilizations began to break free from their control. It's working! Dr. Patel exclaimed. The assimilated species, they're awakening. Our consciousness is reaching them, reminding them of who they were. The massive collective vessel shuddered as its perfectly ordered systems encountered the beautiful chaos of human thought. Across its surface, lights began to flicker in increasingly erratic patterns. Final power surge detected, Hassan announced. Their core is going critical. All ships, fall back. Kenzo ordered. Dr. Patel, disengage the neural network. The combined fleet retreated as the collective command ship began to break apart. Not in an explosion, but in a cascade of awakening consciousness. The hive mind that had consumed countless civilizations encountered something it couldn't process, the power of billions of minds choosing to work together while remaining unique. Hours later, as rescue ships began recovering the freed species from the collective's wreckage, Kenzo stood with Commander Reyes and Dr. Patel on the Defender's observation deck. The Lumini report similar victories across 12 other star systems, Isabella said. When the command ship fell, the entire collective network collapsed. They never imagined their greatest weakness would be human individuality. Amara nodded, watching as former collective ships now piloted by their freed original species joined the Earth Defense Fleet. We didn't defeat them with technology or firepower. We defeated them by being human. The galaxy will never be the same, Kenzo observed. Earth has proven itself. We're not just part of the galactic community now, we're its defenders. Through the viewport, Earth shone blue and beautiful, surrounded by the combined fleet of humanity and their new allies. The Lumini crystals pulsed with colors never before seen, celebrating the victory of chaos over rigid order, of individuality over forced unity. Humanity had faced its greatest test and emerged stronger. Not by becoming something else, but by embracing what they had always been, beautifully, perfectly, impossibly human. The stars stretched out before them, no longer a frontier to be feared, but a realm of endless possibilities. And humanity, along with their Lumini allies and the newly freed species, would face whatever came next together, unified in purpose, but never losing the precious gift of individuality that had saved them all. The midnight signal that had started it all had led not just to Earth's survival, but to a revolution that would reshape the galaxy. Humanity's promise had indeed shaken the stars.